Originally, Rachel and I set out to make a documentary about an unsolved serial killer case in Long Island.
Body count along Ocean Parkway continues to climb.
3 more sets of human remains were discovered near Gilgo Beach,
which has led us to look at other unsolved cases that were eerily similar. First, 4 murders in Atlantic City.
I look down the water, and there's a dead woman down there.
Then 4 murders in Daytona Beach.
A serial killer is on the loose in the Daytona area.
And while the idea that one killer may be responsible for them all appears unlikely, a darker connection has emerged. We've discovered that one of the murders in the Daytona Beach case may be linked to others along the I-4 and I-95 interstates in Florida. A connection first reported by journalist Walter Pacheco.
I had plotted about 19 different cases along these popular interstates. The type of victim was the same, either a female prostitute or a known female drug user.
However, Pacheco wasn't the only one to notice a pattern.
What about these girls? Did they ever find her?
Nope.
This is another girl that you looked at?
Just gone.
Another one?
Gone.
Over here?
Gone. A lot of them have not been found at all.
Private investigator Bill Warner believes these murders along I-4 and I-95 and others across the country were committed by a special breed of monster. Serial killers masquerading as truckers, preying on women working the rest stops, who are often referred to as lot lizards. With our crew secretly following behind, we are now hitchhiking to one of the largest crossroads in America, Oklahoma City. Trucking is the lifeblood of this country, and without it, our daily lives would grind to a halt. But it's also a grueling job, one of long hours, constant monotony, and extreme loneliness.
I'm pretty well self-contained.
You like it that way?
Oh yeah, I like my solitude, but I also get very homesick.
Do you see other guys not dealing with the loneliness so well?
Some of them, it's pretty prevalent. They're greasy and dirty, and they don't care about how they look.
If I was out here by myself,
You'd be in trouble.
would I?
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, the way you're dressed, for one thing.
How am I dressed?
You dress like you're advertising for sex.
If I ran into the wrong person, what could happen?
You could die. They would kill you. They would rape you. You could be gang raped. I mean, it's crazy out here.
Of course, most of the truckers we met were good-natured, hard-working men and women. But this life attracts others as well. As we would discover, this job is also perfectly suited for picking up a woman in one state and dumping her body in another. Before anyone can realize, she's gone. The FBI tries to track these highway murders using a national database intended to be a repository for all violent crimes committed across the country. The database is called VICAP, the Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. But VICAP has one major flaw.
What's wrong with this database?
It doesn't have most of the unsolved murders or the bodies we find in it.
As it turns out, reporting information on unsolved murders to VICAP is completely voluntary.
Since law enforcement doesn't have to enter them, it's not mandatory. People don't, for all sorts of reasons. They don't because they don't have time at the end of the day. They don't because it's an old case. They don't because maybe it's somebody they don't think much of.
I'm under the impression that we have law enforcement agencies that are entering our information into databases 24/7.
There is nobody entering the data 24/7. And so since it's not mandatory, since we don't have law enforcement agencies working together, and there's all sorts of petty rivalries, it's yet another layer that prevents even the best detectives from being able to do their jobs. So.
It would seem the serial killers we were tracking weren't the evil geniuses they're so often portrayed to be. In reality, they were sadly common. And what keeps them from getting caught isn't their brilliance, but more so a our own failures in detecting them and their victims. Yet for Rachel and me, one question still remains. Did these killers know of law enforcement's inadequacies? And if so, did they exploit them to keep on killing?
Convicted of one murder, Mississippi.
Yep.
Back in 2004. I believe her whole head was like wrapped in electrical tape or duct tape.
To find our answer, we began corresponding with John Robert Williams.
John Robert Williams, implicated in as many as 14 cases, and now a fresh charge for the murder of Casey Joe Pipestem.
Williams would later claim to killing more than 30 women.
Wait.
Hold on.
He's calling. Are we rolling?
I have a prepaid call from an inmate at Mississippi State Penitentiary.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, John. It's Rachel, and I have Josh here, too.
Hi, John.
How you doing, Josh?
I guess my first question is, why did you decide to speak with us?
Well, I've turned everybody down over the years, you know. No one's ever heard anything from me, about me, so I figured that people hear it with my own words instead of media or police and stuff like that.
Do you have an idea of how many women you did actually kill?
I know exactly how many I killed.
How many?
Over 30.
Why'd you kill sex workers?
I drove a truck for a living, and it was, I guess you say, easy prey.
Did you know that by dropping their bodies across state lines, that it would be that much harder to solve their murders?
The number one rule, and this is the mistake that I made, is how I got caught. The number one rule is never kill anyone from or around your area. Best way to get away with it is go across state lines and do your thing. And driving a truck, that's the best way to do it.
But are you surprised that it took the killings that you committed for the FBI to figure out that there were so many murders along our highways?
Extremely surprised. I mean, because the truck drivers know about it. I mean, that's all we talk about out there. I am aware of other serial killers out there that I do know personally.
Are any of these guys still out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Who?
Well, I was friends with about 7 of them. We called ourselves the Net-to-Hay. Now, the Net-to-Hay is a group of truck drivers who would pick up women, we'd trade them out with each other and stuff like that. And Net-to-Hay is an Apache term, translated into English means avowed killers. There was 2 females and 5 guys. I could be in Memphis, Tennessee, and this one guy, he'd see my truck pull in and tell me, man, come to my truck, I got a package for you. And I knew what he was talking about. He's got a female in there. I regret doing what I did. I wish I could bring more serial killers to justice.
But John, we could give you that opportunity if you give us the names of the other 5 guys.
One of them, his name is Jimmy Allens. He goes by Roadrunner. He's got a Roadrunner head tattooed on his right chest. The last I'd seen him, he had talked about moving to New York because he said it'd be easier to do what he likes to do.
And what does he like to do?
Kidnap women, kill them, torture them, sell them.
All right, John. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That was
Holy shit.
insane, guys. Are you guys still rolling?
From our call with Williams, it would seem these killers know exactly how to exploit our broken system. One that allows a man like Roadrunner, who's out there right now, to keep on killing.
There are
thousands of missing persons in our country.
You don't have law enforcement agencies working together.
There is nobody trying to connect the dots.
I am aware of other serial killers that I do know personally.
Are any of these guys still out there?
Yes, ma'am.